What's going on? Happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a great day so far. Climate data report here with a tropical weather update. That's right, no climate update today. We have to do a tropical weather update because this right here, which is about to enter the Gulf, Invest 93L, bears watching. We have a fairly favorable setup that's starting to unfold in the Gulf. We have very warm waters. We have wind shear that is going to be getting lower. And check this out. Yes, day 7, the 7-day outlook now has it at 80% from the National Hurricane Center. And even on the day 2 outlook now, it is now at 40% chance of development. The name that it could be given either Idalia or Jose. We'll just have to watch because there are some other features out there in the Atlantic. I think it probably would be Idalia first because, like I said, it's higher percentage here, 80%. That's higher than anything else. This disturbance out here that's at 50%, that would probably be what becomes Jose. But we'll see which one forms first. Of course, we still have Franklin, which is out there. And Franklin is really not going to be much of an issue for anybody. It's not going to hit Bermuda. Bermuda's not in the cone of uncertainty anymore. It's expected to take this track in between the United States and Bermuda. The only thing that you will see is there'll be an increase in waves in Bermuda and probably an increase in wave activity in the United States as well going into next week. But again, Invest 93L, which is this guy right here. This is the one that we are more concerned about. And check this out. These are water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. You can see here these darker reds, these reds that really start to, they show up and you can see them quite clearly. That is some really warm waters. Now there's some discrepancy on the models. It could go anywhere from just east of New Orleans all the way over to the Florida coast. So anyone in these areas right here, these areas, really needs to pay attention. Texas, lower chance that it would come to you. There's not a whole much in the way of guidance. Maybe an ensemble member or two that says it's going to go out there. But let's take a look at the latest European. 12Z European, which is just in here, you can see it does start to show an area of low pressure Sunday night into Monday, and that is eventually going to transfer into the Gulf. And you can see here, Idalia, which is what I think the name is going to be. I don't think the other systems will develop before this one. Who knows? You can see as it starts to come up northeast, it does get its act together. And the European is saying there would be a Category 1 hurricane coming over towards the Tampa Bay area. However, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, these waters are very warm, so this could get its act going together very quickly. I'm also not certain that's going to be where it tracks. Let's take a look at the GFS. Now, GFS is usually the model that is the boy that cried wolf. But you know what? This go round, it wasn't. For the longest time, it was saying, no, there's not going to be tropical activity. Watch this on 12Z GFS. Suddenly, GFS says, wait a second, a low is going to develop down here. Let's backtrack a few runs. Here we are with what was this? This was the 18Z run yesterday. GFS had nothing at all. Then last night it said, wait a second, there's going to be a low. This was on the 0Z run. Then at 6Z it says, no, there's definitely going to be a low. 12Z? Now it's saying, oh, there's going to be a tropical storm in this area. Watch what happens. And this really gets its act going together quite quickly, which is something that's possible because you do have favorable wind profiles and those very warm water temperatures. And look at this. GFS went from showing nothing yesterday to a depression at 0Z to a tropical storm at 6Z to now showing, hey, this is a moderate Category 2 hurricane that is coming into the Florida Panhandle. And then watch what happens. You can see it does produce heavy rainfall even up to Atlanta. Let's reverse this back. Now let's take a look at the Canadian model because we are a little bit concerned here. Take a look at this. Here's the Canadian model. The Canadian model has a strong Category 1 hurricane coming into Florida. Then look what happens in the Carolinas. Oh yes, that's very heavy rainfall. Then eventually it exits off the coast of the Outer Banks and then goes eastward. There's some discrepancy as to how that is going to happen. I mean, we know this system is likely to form. Let's go back to the European for a second. Look what happens here. It actually follows on the European. It follows the Atlantic coast of Georgia, South Carolina, even North Carolina. Then it does this little bit of a stall east of the Carolinas. We know the European does have a slope bias or a held back bias, but we'll have to watch. Will this exit stage right? Will it hang around? Will it go south and do a bit of a loop? It is too soon to say. We'll need to look at ensemble guidance for that. But one thing that I am very concerned about is not so much that, yes, it's going to have an impact on where it landfalls in Florida, but there's going to be a second aspect to this event that could be quite serious. And that is the fact that, look here. Here's the system in the Gulf. Look ahead of this. You do have a boundary that's going to set up. Here's Franklin. And you have this old boundary. It can't move east because Franklin is trying to exit and go around Bermuda. It's not going to hit Bermuda. It's going to stay to the west. It's going to prevent this boundary from going anywhere. And that boundary is going to link up with this system that's in the Gulf of Mexico. And because of that, you do have a very likelihood that there's going to be some training storms, maybe even areas of moderate to heavy rainfall. Maybe a predecessor rainfall event would set up ahead of this. And that's something we have to watch. And apparently the ensemble guidance is on that, at least whatever the Weather Prediction Center looks at, because look at this. This is from the Weather Prediction Center, days 1 through 7, precipitation forecast. Florida, high precipitation amounts. Even in the portions of Virginia, you're looking at widespread 3 to 5 inches, locally 5+. That is a lot of rainfall. And of course, this is not factoring in that we would have a fully developed tropical system. I mean, to a degree it is, but if this thing trends stronger, these amounts are only going to go up. So we're going to really have to watch things here. Again, there is a likelihood that there's going to be a tropical system that comes off of into the Gulf Coast. It could hit anywhere from even Alabama. I'm not Mississippi and Alabama coast. You should be watching this as well, because we know these things can shift west, they can shift east. Anywhere in the Gulf Coast, the Eastern Gulf, pay attention. Be prepared. Have your hurricane preparedness plan at the ready in case you need to take action. And if you're up and down the East Coast, even up to Virginia, keep an eye on this system. There's a high likelihood there could be some heavy rainfall from this, the combination of a tropical system plus a stalled front. As of right now, it looks like it would get to the Carolinas. Mid-Atlantic, pay attention to this as well. We know models can change. This could shift a little bit more north. We don't know. It's still early in the game. We'll have updates on this throughout the weekend as it develops. When it becomes a name system, I'll have a short where I say, hey, we now have our name system here. Here's the first initial numbers, and here's the first initial track. Alrighty, guys, thanks for watching this tropical update. We'll have more updates throughout the weekend. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone that enjoys seeing weather content, by all means, send them to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, everyone, and pay close attention to the forecast.